Right, any questions for Tim and Fiona? Yeah, sorry, hang on. Hands up first.
Winston Williams. Tim, I'm delighted that you've said you're looking at two halves, the plan for known bottlenecks and then the government promise. The plan for bottlenecks has not been passed down to me in local compliance. The only thing I've been hearing so far is the government promise for 50% and the almost the panic how to deal with that, and not looking almost behind that as to how staff can actually plan their own work and overcome the bottlenecks. Wouldn't it be better to try and do the planning for the bottlenecks first, and then later on see if we can comply with 50% change in the 50-day period?
Absolutely it would be, yes. I think we've got to look at how this will personally impact staff. We look at the individuals on this, and hopefully that's what we've been trying to do in our travel programme, in the meetings we've been having with the representatives we have, in that we are trying to say to staff, and I work in 100 Parliament Street, Westminster is one of the hot spots and we're looking at 2 to 3 hour delays there. Saying that I would walk just along to Victoria will do me no good whatsoever, because that's going to be as busy. So personally for me, I have to look at, if I come in before the bottleneck, if I can get up, I'm not very good at it, if I can get up and get in before 7:30 in the morning for 3 days, possibly work on training, as you mentioned, something like that at home for a day, and look at how I can change myself personally. And I think, having tried to engage directly with all 9,000 staff, we're almost correctly asking staff to be selfish. How does this affect you? If you are a carer, if you are someone with children, if you are disabled or whatever, how does this personally affect you? And what can you personally do to avoid this? And hopefully the consequence of individuals thinking will then result in the 50%.
My perception, and it's only one person's perception, is it's been the other way round.
Well, hopefully meetings like this will help to change that.
Okay.
So there's someone over there.
Yeah, my concern is that the department seems to be very inflexible about allowing staff to probably work from home, probably have a facility, for example, a laptop which is encrypted and probably could provide SRS on it, so I could work from home. They're very inflexible about assisting their staff to accommodate the Olympics, yet they're asking 100% from the staff. And I think it's very hard to tell someone, get up and come in at 7 o'clock in the morning, because you've got to wake up at 4 o'clock, as you said, you probably have family commitment. So I think they really need to look at it, and again, it's not like imposing on staff to say, you have to do something. They've got to be more flexible where things can be agreed.
And there's two-part answer to this one as well. At the moment, our technology within the department is at the maximum of number of concurrent users that can work at home. Now, IMS are talking to ExCom right as we're having this meeting about how can we massively increase, not slightly, but massively increase the home working capability. And if we're serious about changing, culture and allowing people to have more flexibility, then we've also seriously got to enable them to have the ability to do it. We are maxed out at this time, and that's why I said right at the beginning of my speech it isn't even worth considering. However, before the Olympics we'll see where IMS get to, and I've used this, and anybody who's been to any of my other meetings, this is the most fluid project I've ever been on. Day to day we get emails or telephone calls completely changing the ballpark. I mean, you mentioned about CSAP, and things change daily to what we were planning on yesterday. So if IMS can achieve things, things will change. In terms of your business lines ability, there are laptops out there. They can, if the business so chooses, it can choose to purchase one from IMS, give it to you and have it enabled. Whether technically it could work at the moment is questionable, but hopefully we're addressing that. But the capability is there if the business lines want to go down those lines.
No, we have a lot of, I would say, visiting officers do have laptops. They're encrypted because we have our file being got. So security-wise, it's going to be, and even if you talk about security, sometimes you can take it on your visits anyway. So if you're scared about security, taking it out of the office if you're allowed to take it on your visits or something, I couldn't see taking it at home, it'd probably be more safer.
Yeah.
So, you know, if that can be considered about allowing us to work from home or not.
I think it should be. The business lines can consider any option within their operational guidelines as it stands to now, and should be supporting staff in doing that.
I think part of the problem is, I think we have to be honest here. I don't think, and it might have changed, but certainly my understanding from my discussions with Chris Weeks was they suddenly discovered that they hadn't got the budget for the Olympics, and so you know, businesses hadn't got budget for what to do with this. So everything they do has got to be within their own existing budget. I think part of the problem is, in spite of the fact that PF policy are quite clear that it is not business as usual for the Olympics period. It is, you know, a once in a lifetime situation, and businesses are going to have to be flexible about the way they work, going to have to look at perhaps relaxing targets for a period, so on and so forth. Absolutely clear with that. But we all know that individual businesses are not going to see it that way. Or shall we say that there will be some businesses that are not prepared to be flexible, that want their targets met, and other businesses that perhaps can be more flexible. So I think some of it is down to the business that you work in, whether they're prepared to make those flexibilities available. And I also, and I hate saying it, but it's true, it is going to impact on different grades in different ways, because we all know that the lower grades are going to have less potential to be working at home or doing other things, and more senior grades will already have, in a lot of cases, the ability to work at home or in other locations if they choose to. So I think there are some inequalities there that we need to address, and that's one of the things that we're looking at.
Yeah, I was just wondering, it's all very well getting everybody to work, but because most of what we do depends on being able to contact outside companies, agencies and things like that. I mean, if you take Christmas and New Year as an example, our business basically grinds to a halt. That's a lot of people's experience. Isn't it going to be the same? Have we sort of considered what impact outside business is going to have on us? In other words, when we come in, is everything going to be to a standstill anyway? Because you know, business have taken the option that their business is basically shutting down for that period.
Well, we've been to a number of events on this and spoken to a lot of external companies. We all know that August is quieter anyway. Looking at statistics for the last couple of years, every office, every day, has 23 to 24% of staff off in August anyway, so we are a quarter of a staff down normally. From what we've heard from the commercial sector, their attitude is it's going to be a bit busy, get on with it. And that sounds a bit brutal, but that's what some of the investment banks particularly are taking that attitude. You know, it's your duty to get into work. You know it's going to be busy. You make sure you're at work. So I don't think I'm sure we will see, personally based on no facts whatsoever, I'm sure we will see a slight reduction. But from what we've been told at conferences and events, they are looking at this as being business as usual.
I also think it depends what area of outside business you're involved in, because we've heard from some of the local compliance and places like that for some people it might be increased work because of the large number of street traders, street vendors, be it merchandise, be it food, whatever. That there's going to be for some areas there's going to be an increase of work. So it possibly will balance out, and for some it will be less busy, for some it will be more busy.
Can I support what you said before as well? I think a number of businesses are looking at things different ways, and the idea of taking a few days home training or something is something to discuss with your managers, because I know other managers have spoken about it already.
Yeah.
Let's get Andy, Alex.
What's the situation regarding Jubilee House? Is that closing or should remaining open?
Do you want to go first?
No, go on, you go first.
It's remaining open. But we are, it's prioritised in every way to get people to Chadwell Heath or Romford to work if they live closer to those, and it's a better option for them. Our priorities are any person with disabilities that's going to be challenged by getting into an office, then it's other people within Stratford who have got issues with getting into Stratford. However, there are people that live in Stratford near the office that may work in 100p that actually going to Stratford would be a better option than coming to 100 Parliament. So, ironically, there actually may be slight importing into Stratford as well as exporting. So, we're looking at flexibility in these options again to meet staff. But all of the spreadsheets that have gone out to all the business areas are already pre-filled with Stratford staff taking space before anybody else gets an option.
Well, that's my reason for asking, because I just live down the road. I know all the back streets. I can avoid all the traffic. I can walk there.
You can. If when you complete your POP, if you say you want to work in Stratford, you will probably be allocated space there as long as it's not full.
Right, thank you.
Alex.
Tim, yes, I'm actually based in 100 Parliament Street. You've conducted about 3 surveys now since January, 3 separate surveys that I recall. When are you sort of planning to share the analysis of those surveys with staff? I mean, you have a highly numerate workforce. We can understand statistics. So, you know, it would be really helpful. I'm not you know, to say, it would be really helpful for us to understand what you are thinking. Secondly, there have been these rumors about compulsory annual leavers, of which we are all concerned. In fact, on our current pay, I don't think anyone can afford to go on holiday anymore. So it's very unfortunate that HR is not here today. So you're having to take some of the flack. But can you just share your thoughts with us on this matter?
On the survey, the results. There was 2 surveys. There was a local compliance survey, they did their own, and we used the SurveyMonkey tool to do everybody who wasn't in local compliance. The analysis, the data results have been shared with all of the representatives of the lines of business. If we depersonalised it, I think the results, I can't see a problem with passing those results out, as long as we take all the personal information out. Really, let me go back and talk to my management about that. But really, if we take the personal information, I think it's just a very good set of information that people would benefit from knowing about. I mean, there's some fantastic information in there, such along the lines of, I don't know, I'll make a number up, so please don't quote me on this, but let's say 200 people if given an option, would like to work sometime in Watford. I mean, there's things like that. Now, that allows us to know that that's a very popular destination, and going forward, if we wanted to give people an option, that would be a great place for them to work. I can't see. I'll have a look at it, and I'll have a chat with PF just to make sure that they're comfortable with it. But I'll certainly come back to yourself then, via you, if that's okay. To Dave, I'll come back to Dave to see what my management team say about that. But certainly, I think if we can't get the absolute detail, we can get. We must be able to produce a summary paper from it that we could share. I really can't see an issue with that. On the leave, I am not PF, and I can't comment on that, I'm afraid.
Absolutely, but my principal concern has been that the way it's being handled, and I think you're doing a great job of it so far by the looks of it. However, on the HR side, there are serious problems. And if you lose the goodwill of all the staff, then you're going to have real problems indeed. And I think you're walking a very fine line here in terms of compulsion and voluntary, and how people react on this matter. If you lose our goodwill, then it won't be good news in the long term.
I absolutely support that, and I think that's one of the reasons that we quickly volunteered to come here today, was to try and make sure that we can stop rumours, we can stop speculation as much as possible, and to get to talk directly to people, to say what do you want to know. The TNS one has been emotive, the leave one has been emotive, and it always will be. I mean, personally, it works both ways. There's a person who's written an article for us for CAM, who saved £100 just by what she did, the changes during the test week, and has now said, if I go forward over a year, I will save £1,000. And so she's actually seen as a way to save money herself by making that walk and avoiding the tube daily. There's other people that are seeing potential 3 hours a day personal time back in their life with their family just by not coming into London. But it will always be down to an individual and what operationally can be achieved. And I think that's the other thing. We are still here to achieve our aims operationally. But you're right. We need to keep the staff on our side to make this work.
Just for everybody else's benefit, the annual leave side of it, they have put an assurance out that it will be a last resort, any periods of enforced leave, and it won't just be down to your manager to say you can't come in. There's got to be a business case put forward, and it's got to be authorised at grade 7. So they have put some assurances in place that it's not going to, so it's not going to be abused. However, we still, don't agree with the principle of being told you must have that period of time off.
Oh, man.